Hey YouTube, FrankieWuzHere here. In this guide, I'll be covering how to quickly level up your attack, as well as dexterity. We'll be using a Falling Sun, but if you want to use a different weapon class, you can read through my recommendations on screen. In terms of equipment, you'll want to use as much minus attack gear as you can, within reason of course. Robotic limbs aren't needed, but recommended. If you're trying to get 90 plus attack, you should have at least 90 toughness and around 80 defense. If you don't meet the requirements, you can check out my guides on both those skills. It will just take a few minutes to watch, and do it yourself. The items on the bottom are only needed for organic characters. You may not need a camp bed, but it can still be useful if you get unlucky when training in Zone 1 or 3. Speaking of that, this guide will be a bit different than my previous videos, as I'll be covering 3 areas instead of just one. The first and second area will be with normal game settings. The third area, however, is only viable with max population settings, and for half of the game year, so keep that in mind. I'll explain it more in detail later on. We'll start with Howler's Maze. Anyone familiar with my martial arts guide will know these little buggers are an amazing source of experience. Just like beak things, crabs have 35 defense. However, unlike beak things, crab nests have a ton of small, young animals inside of them, which means they have low attack and they're easy to clump up together. When hitting a unit, the game will give them defense experience first. It will then use that new defense level to determine what your attack and dexterity XP is multiplied by. For instance, let's say you and another guy had 0 all stats. If you were to hit the other character, and his defense leveled all the way up to level 20 in one single hit, which wouldn't happen, but just play along, the experience you would gain would be multiplied by 3, as now they're 20 levels over you. I believe this might be the reason why animals ignore their age multiplier when it comes to granting attack experience for you when they're hit. Oh, and to also add, your combat experience is further multiplied when you're outnumbered in combat, maxing out an additional 2/3 bonus experience if you're fighting 1v8. Train here for as long as you'd like, but you can go to Area 2 at around 55 attack. Like I mentioned in the intro, this setup is only needed for organic characters. Head over to Iron HQ in the Crags. On the south side, place down a small shack as close as you can to the outpost. Confirm, but stop your character from actually building it. Now you'll be able to place another shack much closer than you could before. I like to put mine in front of this little plant, as it's outside of the radius of, quote-unquote, your outpost. You could also buy a building at Iron HQ, but they tend to break down your doors, so I wouldn't recommend it. Once you finish building the shack, you can dismantle the first one. By doing so, you'll remove your outpost, preventing any raids that might attack the skeleton bandits you'll be training on. You can go ahead and place down a bed and a storage box if you'd like. Personally, I like to build a crossbow locker, as they can hold any item. They also remove the stolen tag off anything put inside, by the way. Occasionally, some patrols might aggro the guards here. If that were to happen, just loot the bandages and weapons from the attackers after they get knocked out. That way they don't keep getting back up. After the construction is complete, make your way into the HQ. Go up to the very top floor and attack a guard nearby. Then run outside. Attack any bandits you find on the roofs of the buildings. Then enter one, activate hold, and run onto the stairs. You will get clipped outside a lot. Just run on back in whenever that happens. Thanks to their equipment, the guards at Iron HQ have an average attack of 51 and defense of 59, which means until we reach level 89 attack, at least with our loadout we're wearing right now, we'll be getting bonus experience, thanks to stronger opponent logic, at least on average. By fighting on the stairs, we're able to funnel more units around us, while avoiding getting attacked from a distance, at least from our left and right. Also, thanks to hold, when we are clipped outside, it can be a good thing. As we make our way back in, the enemies will rush after us, usually right into an attack. Wandering skeleton bandit patrols nearby don't have great stats. However, they're pretty useful to pull, as they mostly get in the way of the stronger guys. I'm using the Falling Sun in this guide as it has great reach, decent dexterity gain, and a large indoor penalty. Although the relative dexterity to attack XP isn't higher than that of a katana or a saber, it's able to hit way more units per swing, resulting in far more experience over time. Your dexterity XP is actually multiplied by your cut damage divided by the total damage of your weapon. It's then multiplied by strong opponent logic. However, it uses your attack level instead of itself. In other words, the higher your attack is, the less dexterity XP you'll gain. This is why I normally tell people that attack training dummies are a trap, and why I don't like playing as a Shek. Their bonus attack experience is horrible for dexterity gains. Add in the fact that they also have a 20% dexterity malus, and you'll find it lagging behind a lot. Any skeletons or hive soldier drones might notice that you're not leveling up as fast as I am here. That's because you don't have access to Tin Can for the -5 attack. As such, you'll level a bit slower overall, which also means that you need more hits to level up. What I'm getting at is it would be a good idea to occasionally, maybe every 8 hours of game time or so, just play dead. Let them patch each other up. That way they don't worsen to death. If your health happens to get too low, you can just lay down in any of the skeleton repair beds. With specialist or higher armor, and around 90 toughness, you should be able to out-heal the damage they deal to you, at least if you repair yourself. Or you can just jump into the repair bed in the very corner of this building. The only enemies that can damage you are the ones on the very top floor. Eventually, when you get knocked out, you can activate Sneak, get up, and run to your shack. By doing so, your character will usually be able to skip the long getting up animation. Once in your shack, either get knocked out again, or take off your leg. Close your door and count to around 8. Then just get into your bed, look straight down and zoom in your camera, so you'll heal up at full speed. Once you're healthy enough, get back in there and continue to train. Without any interruptions as a Scorchlander with a heavy weapon, you can very easily go from 55 to 90 attack in less than a game day. Heck, sometimes you don't even have to use a bed to hit 90. We came very close in this run. I still would recommend making one though, just in case. Now for the final area. Remember, this one requires you to change your population settings to the max. We're going to my favorite zone. The place where I made my base as a newbie. The Burning Forest. The target of our training will be blood spiders. These little beasts take up most of the spawns in the area. There are 2 seasons here. Both last for 50 days. One has on and off powerful dust storms, the other acid rain. Ideally, you'll want it to be the dust storm season, as it will reduce your attack by 10. The average defense of a blood spider is 40, while that is only 5 more than that of a crab, thanks to the combination of a dust storm tanking our attack, as well as the endless horde throwing themselves at us, makes this place extremely good for training, especially if you have multiple characters. For those of you playing as a skeleton, well, like I mentioned earlier, you will level slower, actually much slower than the organic characters, as you'll miss out on the dust storm debuff, but it's still worth it. Unfortunately, if you happen to have an acid rain season, you'll either have to wait 50 game days for the season to change, or just tough it out. If you need to heal, you can place your camp bed in the farm ruins found in the northern section of the forest. Quick little PSA. 5 years ago, blood spiders had their reach nerfed, from 70 down to 18. If you're getting hit a lot more than I am here, you probably have the Sensible Spider Range mod, which actually buffs the reach of skin and blood spiders. I should make a video one day on mods that are outdated, do nothing, or the complete opposite of what they're named. No cut efficiency, I'm looking at you. You overpowered cheap mod. As I wrap up here, it's important to remember that the first 2 areas were with normal population settings, Of course, you'll level much faster if you increase the population for those two areas as well. If you do want to boost the population, only touch the squad size multiplier for areas 1 and 2. I want to very quickly say thank you very much to Ambiguous Amphibian for the glowing review and the amazing videos over the years. That's not the only person I want to thank though. I want to thank you. Thank you for watching, commenting, encouraging, and liking the videos I make. I mean, look at that dude. You guys rock. I know showing this will change the percent, obviously, but hey, if a video has 100 likes and 1 dislike, that's still 101 people showing they liked the video. Just one dude misclicked. Until next time guys, FrankieWuzHere.